Simon is now on the home stretch towards Paris, but not everything's gone to plan.
It's been a frustrating time this last week, really, isn't it? We wanted to get a load of stuff done, and we were holed up in a little marina where we had access to transport and shops, and heavens have just opened for a week. So we haven't got half as much as we wanted to get done. But things I wanted to do up on deck, are getting the deck sanded and varnished up, ready for Paris, and the balustrades on. Forget it, it's just been actually tipping down.
And the closer he gets to Paris, the more he's thinking about realising his dream.
But this mission of mine this is the last year of my life, it's been taken up with this. Pulling it off, getting it together, building the boat, it's just been planning and plotting and dreaming of this for a year, so there's a lot behind it.
But for the moment, his long-awaited arrival will have to wait, as his last stop before Paris is Chablis. Chablis is renowned for its white wine production. Simon is here to meet Michel Laroche, one of its most prolific producers.
I'm really hoping to find a lot more detail about wines here and about tasting the wines, and in particular marrying wines with food to get to the heart of this principle of why the French are so passionate about the plonk as well as the noche, as it were.
It's a far cry from the quaint village bistros of Burgundy. The closer Simon gets to Paris, the more its urban chic influences are apparent. Michel Laroche has managed to successfully marry a long-established brand in winemaking with a new contemporary restaurant. And he wants Simon to taste 3 of his wines and then design a menu around them.
Simon,
Michel.
Nice to see you. Welcome. We start with the Saint-Martin. Fresh, crisp, purity, that's the adjective.
So I can imagine eating that with some like smoked salmon or...
Yeah, sure.
Next up is the 2004 Premier Cru.
Next glass. You know, overall it's different. Huh? You get something bigger, stronger in character, but this vintage, it's what I call very classical vintage in Chablis. Nice balance between rain and nice weather.
And last but not least is the £60 per bottle Grand Cru.
This is the Grand Cru.
Grand Cru, this is 03. One more year, the wine is going to have more maturity, more ripeness, and still with the mineral character. Even in a vintage like this, you keep this really Chablis character, which makes it really distinctive.
I could stand and try and be professional and try and name flavours, but that actually just made me smile.
Right.
Simon has a good idea of what to cook to accompany the Saint-Martin and the Premier Cru,
I can follow forward.
but the Grand Cru is giving him
And
problems.
it makes sense. That, I'm not sure which direction to go at all.
Yeah, because
it's
the wine is
opened up
going
and-
to be very present, you know? Strong personality.
And at £60 a bottle, he needs to get it right.
This is quite a challenge.
Yeah, and there are all coming from Chablis, but quite different wines. So good challenge.
Simon's got plenty to think about, and it seems that his recent experiences are having a dramatic effect on his cooking philosophy.
I'm now getting a kick in a different direction, comprehending a bit more. Whether I want to change my style is a different thing, because I kind of like good, gutsy, hearty, simple food. So I'm a bit of a crossroads, but since meeting Patrick and since meeting Michel, it's making me think. Lying in bed thinking about food, but that's what I came to do.
The next day, Simon arrives with his ingredients. In the next 2 hours, he must create 3 different dishes, each of which perfectly complement one of 3 different wines. And then they'll be tasted by Michel Laroche, the vineyard owner, who's waiting to be served in the restaurant.
Let's understand, I'm not a professional wine taster. I'm not a professional wine producer. These guys are. I can't afford to get this wrong.
The The first dish that he's preparing is sardines on roasted pepper polenta and a tapenade of crushed olives and anchovies. He reckons the first wine, which was the Saint Martin, is capable of handling these strong tapas-like flavours.
It cuts through and you can still taste the wine despite having this stronger plate around it, I think.
Next up is roasted plaice with avocado and a juniper berry and gin sauce, accompanied by poached oysters. Simon has paired this dish with the mid-range Premier Cru.
The paupiètes of whiting plaice roasted in the oven with juniper berries gin. And to garnish the plate or accompany that, to richen it up a bit, I'm going to use about 4 or 5 oysters.
So what about the Grand Cru?
This is the concept or idea that's tested me the most, I think, because of the complexity and the depth of character in that wine. You kind of have to treat the wine with respect, so this is the one I've kind of got to get right.
So for this, he's gone with a French classic. Breast of quail with mushroom stuffing with a beurre blanc sauce. Is he perhaps playing to the gallery? So, with the potential to ruin a 60-pound bottle of Blanc, Simon begins the stuffing that will fill the quail breasts. He's using chanterelle and morille mushrooms with breadcrumbs and butter to add consistency.
The quail itself is going to lie on green beans. I don't want to serve it on the bone because it's hard to eat. The skin becomes a bit of a parcel. Okay.
Now he can use the mushroom stuffing to reform the shape of the quail.
And then I need string on that, yeah.
Next, Simon mixes the roasted pepper polenta for the sardine dish.
Okay, polenta, it's the base to go underneath the sardines and the tapenade ingredients. Hot water, polenta goes in, keep it moving. I'm flavouring it with grilled peppers, plenty of butter. I noticed that polenta's on the menu here as well. When in Rome.
After Simon and La Roche's head chef Julien have sampled the oysters, he can begin poaching them. He's simply using cream. Now the quail and the polenta is ready to be roasted.
Everything's getting slammed on. It's that final push to the stomach that we talk about.
The fillets of plaice are simply pan-fried with the avocado and plenty of cracked pepper, whilst the tapenade is added to the sardines.
Turn it off the fitting some gin.
Finally, the dishes are ready. The head chef Julien is impressed by Simon's timings. The question is, will each dish perfectly complement the 3 individual wines?
Hello, hello.
Hello, Simon.
Now I have 3.
Nice to see
This
you.
one.
Wow, super.
Ça c'est beau les. C'est beau les.
So has Simon risen to the challenge? He paired up his tapas dish with the Saint Martin, the plaice with the Premier Cru, and the quail with the Grand Cru. Michel's invited his restaurant manager and his wife to offer their opinions and the verdict as to whether Simon's dishes complement the wines.
In your Chablis, that's how they work.
Wow. Excellent, Simon.
As Simon heads back to the kitchen to let them confer, will they favour the same wines with the same dishes?
I think for the sardine and the olives, which is having strong character, young wine with fruit is certainly a good match. Nice.
Too complex.
And it's a very good association because I feel mushrooms and
I like the freshness of Chablis Saint Martin. I think it's. You have the oysters too, and I think Chablis Saint Martin would match quite well too.
So after tasting each dish, Simon returns. They've enjoyed the food, but more importantly, have they agreed which wine goes best with each dish?
I didn't know if I was going to get thrown out of here when I walked
I
out.
need some help in my kitchen, in fact.
How did we do with the tasting? How did I do with the...
Okay. What I believe, everybody agreed that Saint Martin was matching very well with this plate.
The best
Okay.
with the sardine.
You know, very smelly, olives. You need some really fruit which is coming up.
So Simon's got the first combination right, matching the rich tastes of his tapas dish with the simple Saint-Martin. So what about his place dish?
First, my opinion, I think that it was a Grand Cru first, but I have changed because I taste again. And for me, Forchom and Premier Cru is a nice combination.
So that's 2 out of 2. But it was the Grand Cru that Simon was so worried about. Do they feel that his French classic has made the grade?
So the Premier Cru?
I had the Morilla and the Quails. But, you know, each time I'm cooking Morilla, I have Grand Cru. I think it's the best combination. Morilla is the perfect match with Grand Cru.
Yeah.
So France and England can be reconciled.
Simon is relieved. And perhaps begrudgingly, Michel is happy to accept that even English chefs can cut the mustard when it comes to matching wines with food. In fact, he's so impressed, he's offered to supply wine for Simon's floating kitchen.
This is Michel Laroche. He's just shaken my hand and said, when you open your restaurant in England, or when you open your restaurant in Paris, I want to be there and we'll help you, we'll supply you wine, whatever you need. Yeah, the welcomes we've had have just been fantastic. We first meet people, they're a little bit, okay, silly English chef, and we're walking away with friends who want to come to Paris to the restaurant. So we're getting something right.
Next time in Floating Kitchen, Simon finally makes it to Paris. But will his dream to open a floating restaurant come to an end when bureaucracy and the strong arm of the law intervene?